For the second time in a week, the South Carolina Gamecocks take to their home court against a Big East foe, hoping for the same result they had back on Monday when Providence provided the opposition. Pesky John Linehan and the Friars were no match for the Gamecock defense on this night. Aaron Lucas with the block, the push, the dish to backcourt mate Jamel Bradley for the three. A 19-point win for South Carolina. Now tonight, another tough guard matchup in this game.
Yeah, Kevin Braswell known more for his scoring and distributing. Aaron Lucas more for his defense and passing. A good matchup between two blurs. On the other end, maybe the key matchup inside, maybe Mike Sweetney for Georgetown. An Achilles injury, only played 14 minutes in the last 3 games.
He is scheduled to start tonight, but with Sweetney out recently, the big man in the middle, Wesley Wilson's had more room, and he's taken advantage of it.
Indeed he has. Defensively, he has already got 14 blocks. He had 30 all of last year, but it's his offensive game that has flourished. He's averaging 16 a game. That's almost triple what he had last year.
Let's set the starting lineups for you. There are some new faces, still getting to know some of the newcomers around the country. Wesley Wilson, the big man in the middle. Mike Sweetney, one of the key players for Georgetown, as Larry discussed. Victor Samanick, Gerald Riley, and Kevin Braswell is the point guard, and a good one for Georgetown. For South Carolina, Marius Petrovicius eats up space inside. Rolando Howell, very athletic. Shug Idson, multi-dimensional player at forward. A lot of the offense runs through him. And how many teams in the country, Larry, can say that they've got 2 senior guards starting for them? Not many.
Not many. Absolutely true. Should be a lot of fun. This will be a good game. A good intersectional matchup between 2 good clubs.
Third time they've ever met. Georgetown winning the first 2 games. The last one took place back in 1978.
Hoyas open up in a straight man-to-man defense. It'll be Lucas running the club for South Carolina out front.
There's Petrovicius. He missed the first 3 games of the season. One of those suspensions to a foreign player for playing alongside professionals. And you can see early they could have used him out in Maui.
Yeah, Dan, you had a chance to see the South Carolina club play 3 times in Maui. And without him, they're really a different team. With him in the lineup, he gives them a little bit more toughness inside.
Tony Kitchings was starting. Figures to come off the bench tonight. He's recovering from a concussion last week. Victor Samanick puts it on the floor, and you're going to see a different kind of a Georgetown team. Craig Esherick has a few guys who can put the ball in the basket.
Samanick shooting much better than he did last year. Much improved player.
Boy, Sweetney working hard. Remember, the tender Achilles has played sparingly the last 3 games. And there's Idson, the lefty. And you'll hear that a lot because South Carolina, get a look at this. They've got 6 lefties on this team.
Heard you and Bill talking about that in Maui. Nothing but lefties out there.
Yeah, they only had.
Of course, Raftree thinks left-handed.
That's true. And here's a steal by Idson, one of his specialties. He will take it the distance for the finish.
Well, you talked about his ability to steal. He is one of the best at picking the ball up and taking it to the other end, and there's a violation already for Georgetown.
2 years ago as a freshman, Chuck Idson recorded 93 steals, a South Carolina record. He missed a lot of last year with a knee injury. And now a quick substitution for Georgetown as Mike Sweetney goes out, and Cortland Freeman, 6'9" junior from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, checks in. The Hoyas again pretty deep. Craig Esherick will use 8 or 9 guys on a regular basis.
Hoyas have gone to a 2-3 zone. A little bit different look. Craig Esherick at the shoot around today told us he would do this.
It's an open from the wing, left it short, and Petrovicius couldn't squeeze it. Georgetown ball.
Sort of unusual to see Idson shooting from that far out. He's not known as a 3-point shooter. He has attempted 20. That was his 21st of the year, but more known for his slashing type play.
Turnaround jumper by Wilson, no good. And here comes Aaron Lucas. He has done a wonderful job this year taking care of the basketball with a ratio of assists to turnovers of better than 3.5 to 1.
Well, Dave Odom speaks glowingly of his point guard, but South Carolina just turned it over.
Petrovicius, his pass is thrown away, and now Braswell spins to the lane.
How pretty was that? Beautiful move.
If you're an SEC fan and you haven't seen a whole lot of Kevin Braswell out of Georgetown in the Big East, he can really push the ball up the floor, and he's shooting the ball much better so far this year.
And handling it well with both hands, too. Much improved guard.
Good position for Petrovicius, but he's got a big man on him in Wilson. Now Lucas right by Braswell. There's a foul out on the perimeter. It's going to be fascinating to see if either one of these point guards can keep up with the other one when they're playing defense.
Well, we highlighted these two guards at the top of the show, and we talked about Kevin Braswell and Aaron Lucas. Both of them very quick up and down the floor. You can see what Lucas has been able to do this year. I mean, 40 assists and only 11 turnovers. That's amazing in 7 games.
That pass nearly tipped away. South Carolina 5-2. Their losses to Duke and UCLA out in Maui. Georgetown 5-1. Their loss coming to Georgia rather. The Hoyas have not played a difficult schedule at all, but it is going to get tougher starting tonight. Petrovicius no, and the rebound for Sweetney, who's checked back in.
Sweetney not showing any ill effects of that Achilles injury. That was a nice move to get inside and get the rebound.
Well, you can see how Lucas is backpedaling when Braswell attacks him.
Most everybody does.
Yeah, can't blame him. Here's Riley on the wing, 6'6", and he traveled.
Picked up that pivot foot on the wing. We got a veteran crew here tonight, huh?
Tim Higgins, Carl Hess, and Mike Kitts, the officials. Craig Esherick, 3rd full season. And started in the middle of the year 4 years ago for Georgetown. He started to put them back on the map. They went to the Sweet 16 last year. We talked about how the schedule's getting tougher. They've got games coming up against Virginia, UCLA, and they were an overwhelming pick by Big East coaches to win the West Division of that conference.
You know, Dan, I really credit him. I think you got to play these type of games. You got to go out and play the best you can, or clubs are close to you.
Sweetney with a steal, pushes the floor. Braswell full speed and lays it in.
Pretty nice job that time by Rolando Howell to avoid the foul, because Braswell was ready to take the blow and make the basket.
Hoyas have tied it at 6. It's an air ball, his last outside jumper, and hurt it quite a bit for the fans here in Columbia. Now Rolando Howell backing down Cortland Freeman. Tough shot, almost went, but he will shoot a couple.
How many times do you see a guy make a spin move to a 360 and it was almost a jump hook from the left side with his right hand? Let's go back and take a look at this. You talk about a difficult shot. I mean, this is really tough, and he's got a guy right in his face. Freeman's all over him. Craig Esherick was questioning Tim Higgins about the call, too.
Now, here's one area where South Carolina really has to improve. As a team, they're shooting barely 60% from the line, and that'll just drive your coach crazy, even if it is his first year on a new job, and he's all fired up about the opportunity to coach here. 12 very strong years for Dave Odom at Wake Forest. 3-time ACC Coach of the Year. Of course, was there during the Tim Duncan era when he had some very good teams, Randolph Childress and others.
I'll tell you what, though, Tim, South Carolina struggled with their free throw shooting last year.
And Howell knocks that one in. Got a fresh face in there now for Georgetown. Drew Hall, freshman with the ball out of Silver Spring, Maryland. So Braswell has gone out, and already Craig Esherick has gone deep into his bench.
South Carolina goes to a 2-3 zone.
And Sweetney has it taken away by Petrovicius, and it's South Carolina ball.
Tried to force the ball inside. Georgia had a lot of success against Georgetown in that game that they played in the Hall of Fame Classic. And I think everybody has attempted to play a zone defense against them ever since. You watch the tape and you think that's what you ought to do. So far, South Carolina having a little success with it.
Have already turned it over 4 times in the first 4 minutes, and we've got a foul away from the ball going against Rolando Howell and South Carolina. That'll bring us to our first TV timeout here, just over 4 minutes in. Georgetown down 2, despite the best efforts of Kevin Braswell. Turn it on the Jets here early. Back here in Columbia, Craig Esherick has been a part of the Georgetown program for 25 years. Dan Shulman and Larry Conley with you here. He played there, graduate assistant, got a finance degree, got a law degree, assistant coach, associate head coach. Right now, he's as much a part of Georgetown basketball as anybody.
If he's got the finance degree and the law degree, you need a psychological degree to coach college basketball today.
Right.
He's terrific. One of the better ones, I think, in the country. South Carolina back in that zone defense again, this time a 1-2-2.
On the floor now for Georgetown, number 15, Harvey Thomas, another freshman, as Craig Esherick continues to explore the depth of his team here in the early going. Look at them surround Sweetney. Now he gets it back with a little room, but has it blocked by Howell. Bradley finds Lucas streaking to the basket to lay it home.
How about that move that time by Aaron Lucas to avoid the foul and get the shot off?
Well, you have two guys who have been playing together for a few years, and it shows with Lucas and Bradley. As now we've got a foul at the other end. Good pace out of that time.
Indeed. Good move by Gerald Riley that time going inside for Georgetown. But let's go back and take a look at the move. Pretty good block right here. Good rejection up there. Again, Rolando Howe getting a piece of it. You can see Bradley on the left, Lucas on the right. Look at him kind of jackknife his body, get it up underneath and off of the glass. Nicely done.
Always amazes me when one guy's going in and there are two defenders there and he manages to slither through the middle and lay it up and in.
When you're Aaron Lucas, you can do that. You're small, you're quick, and you find a way to get to the basket.
At the line, Gerald Riley, averaging almost 10 points per game, 6'6" wing guy who can shoot and slash. And now some changes for South Carolina as Dave Odom calls in the reinforcements. Tony Kitchings from Aiken, South Carolina in. Again, remember, suffered a concussion last week. Also into the game now, Chris Warren, a junior out of Garland, Texas.
They labeled it a grade 2 concussion. I didn't even know you graded concussions. Pressure full court again by Georgetown. They get the turnover. Nicely done by the Hoyas.
Lucas trying to say that a Hoya got a piece of that ball on the way out, but that's one of the few turnovers committed by him in recent games.
How about Sweetney, Riley, and Thomas out there? 6'8", 6'8", and 6'8" out on the front part press. That's pretty good.
Now we can see the folks coming out here and trying to wipe the floor dry. There is a little bit of concern. It's, as it is seemingly everywhere right now. It was about 75 degrees today, another beautiful day, and a little bit of concern about moisture on the floor, condensation, that kind of thing. The problem that occurred up in Richmond last week.
Then I got to tell you, there's word floating around among us analysts about working with you.
I know.
We're not sure about you.
Yeah, happened
everywhere you show up.
That's right. I have been warned by my superiors that the investigation is narrowing. You got another turnover committed by the Hoyas. That's their 5th already. We are here at Frank McGuire Arena in Columbia, South Carolina. A nice interconference game. Big East taking on the SEC. Georgetown and South Carolina. Dan Shulman and Larry Conley pleased to be here with you. And early the Gamecocks with a 2-point lead over the 15th ranked Hoyas, getting really just their second tough test of the season. Petrovicius trying to go over Wilson, missed the jump hook, and look at Sweetney corral the rebound.
Oh, was that nice? Sweetney for a sweet one. Way up.
A member of the Big East all-rookie team.
Look at that handle by Braswell. What a pass.
And then underneath, Thomas couldn't do anything with it. But Braswell had that ball in a string, didn't he?
Oh, my goodness. Tough luck for Georgetown not to be able to finish that off, because that was as good a ball handling as I have seen all year. Kevin Braswell absolutely with a magician. Watch him handle this ball. Lucas right with it, puts it behind his back, pulls it back, keeps the dribble alive, a bounce pass underneath, and they could not finish. That is just terrific ball handling.
A 4-year starter for the Georgetown Hoyas. This is his 106th career start, and that is what he does best. But he's blocked from behind by Bradley. And the ball's knocked out of bounds. But Kevin Braswell, Larry, averaging 4 steals per game.
How about the guard play so far? We haven't played 5 minutes, and already Braswell with a great steal. Watch Bradley come back. He didn't give up. Oh, that's terrific play on the part of both players.
Now Georgetown converts underneath, and they have tied the game at 10. Been a little bit sloppy, but it's been fun so far. Nice little backdoor look to Lucas. Looks away, puts up the shot, left it short. Here come the Hoyas on the run. As always, the ball into the hands of Braswell, scoops it to Wilson, who banks it home.
Nicely done. Again, Kevin Braswell giving up the ball, the good penetration, and the nice dish.
30-second timeout.
Well, is terrific. He really is.
Second team All-Big East a year ago. Preseason first team All-Big East selection this year.
Braswell handling and dishing. Nicely done. Nice catch, too. Good finish by Wilson. Be a lot of fun.
Foul. As always, Georgetown's going to extend and pressure and try to disrupt South Carolina. You saw last trip they succeeded with Braswell, but when Lucas is bringing the ball up the floor, it's a much different story.
Yeah, you got to put the ball in his hands. He's the guy that can push it up the floor, either with the dribble or with the pass. Here's another guy that can handle it.
It's a lot of the offense will run through him. Even if he isn't shooting and scoring, he's important. Howell on the baseline, gets into the paint, missed the shot. And the rebound of the Hoyas, who have done a pretty nice job on the glass. That was a big problem for them against Georgia. Now Lucas, smallest guy on the floor, rips it down.
He actually took it away from Mike Sweetney.
Kitching's in the game.
Good screen, good help by Georgetown. Look at Sweetney trailing Lucas.
Lucas gets around it, finds Itzen. Dumped down on the baseline, it'll go.
Nice catch in there. Rolando Howe made himself available. You know, whenever you play with guys like Aaron Lucas or Chuck Itzen, you've got to make yourself available. Watch right here. Down inside, drop the ball off. Howe's right there to lay it in. You know, when a guy comes through and opens the door for you, you got to be able to hand him some flowers.
Yeah, that's true. And Itzen found Howe, who missed the free throw, but we've got a violation against the Hoyas. Howe, just a sophomore from right here in Columbia. And Jamel Bradley coming back in. We talked about South Carolina's free throw problems so far this year. It's been really evident here at home. And those are just terrible numbers, barely 50% here in their home building.
Has to be terribly perplexing to understand that you're not shooting free throws at home as well as you are on the road.
Well, they've got the kind of team that the way they pass the ball, share the ball, they can break people down. They can get to the line, so they've got to take advantage.
South Carolina back in a 1-2-2 zone. You'll see Itzen on the point of it. He'll drop down in that lane area when the ball goes to the wing or to either one of the low posts.
Hall back in for Georgetown, so Braswell moves off the ball now to the 2 spot.
Itzen is 31 right at the top right there. There it is, a slap away on the inside.
Boy, is he something?
Yep, good hands. He's a coach's son.
And plays like it. All on Lucas right now, so keep an eye on whoever Braswell has. If that guy gets the ball, he might be in trouble, and it's Bradley, who's already been stripped by Braswell once tonight.
Drew Hall doing a nice job out front on Aaron Lucas.
Lucas,
that may be a push-off.
Yes, no question.
I'll tell you what, Drew Hall put a lot of pressure on him on the ball, and he just simply pushed him away, trying to get free. Watch Hall right here. Tracking, tracking, tracking. Lucas uses that off arm, that right arm to push off. Good call.
First foul on Lucas, turns it back over to the Hoyas. A 1-point lead for Dave Odom in South Carolina here early in this game.
And now South Carolina changes defense as they go to a man-to-man.
Braswell tried for the back door. That's a low percentage pass, and Georgetown fortunate to retain possession.
Pretty good job by Lucas that time. When Braswell made the backdoor cut, he was with him every step of the way. Look at these two guys square off.
Braswell might have gotten away with a walk there. Gets it back in the corner. Wilson from 12.
Boys, he improved as an offensive player. He is terrific. Averaged 5 points a game last year. Played behind Boomche, and he has really grown into that position, become a real offensive threat.
Last 2 games, 44 points and 23 rebounds for Wesley Wilson. Now knocked away, but Riley can't save it. Craig Esherick told us an interesting story about Wilson this morning. He's told him last year, you're a sub. No matter how well you play, Boomche's the starter, you're the backup. But he said Wilson handled it well, worked hard in practice, developed confidence, worked on his skills, and it's all blossoming for him here this season.
Well, consider the fact that he has to go up against Boomche every day in practice. Right. It had to make him a better player.
Michael Boynton, another one of those lefties into the game now for South Carolina. 3 lefties on the floor for the Gamecocks now. There's one of them. Itzen loves that pump fake, but he can't hit the shot, and it's Georgetown ball as Howell goes over the back.
Well, that's excellent defense by Georgetown. You see a guy flying out on the shooter, even with a pump fake, there's somebody behind.
Got a close one here in Columbia. Georgetown up on South Carolina by a point. Well, it seems, Larry, when you think of Georgetown basketball, you always think of big centers. I mean, from Patrick Ewing and Alonzo Mourning to Kembe Mutombo, Ruben Boomche. Is Wesley Wilson the next in that group? Well,
that's a good question. He is only a junior and obviously has another year. I hope he stays around for that extra year, because if he makes as much progress next year as he did from last year to this year, he could be right in that category.
When you play in the Big East, you always want as much beef up front as you can get. And Wesley Wilson, 6'11", 235. Mike Sweetney at 6'8", 260. That's a pretty good start.
Report to the Van area at halftime to redeem your prize.
So 2 big guys, and one thing that Craig Esherick really wants them to work on is playing together. He thinks they're keys to the team's success this year.
For us to be really good by the end of the year, both Wesley and Mike have to be able to play well together. And I think that what you see now, you'll see some improvement in January and even some more improvement in February, because both of them are good in the low post. Both of them are good in the lane, and we have to be able to coordinate, one person in the low post, one person in the high post, and that'll come by the end.
Wilson in heavy traffic, got it to go. We haven't seen Wilson and Sweetney together all that much tonight. Georgetown can go small with forwards 6'6", 6'7". They can also go big and even have a 6'8" two-guard on the floor if they want. Craig Esherick's got a lot of options.
Yeah, and I'm not sure Craig Esherick wants his club out there, the one that's on the floor that doesn't have a Wilson or a Sweetney out there. Right. I mean, you got to have either one of those guys out there.
It's an open. He'll launch a three. Won't go down. Now, you saw this team a lot last year, and by all accounts, Idson, before he suffered his knee injury last year, was really struggling with his shot, was hesitating to shoot, especially at home. Fans getting on him, and that's got to still be in the back of his mind.
Then he was, and it was a problem for him psychologically. I mean, he wanted to put the ball up, but he was not shooting it well. That hesitancy really caused him to lose his confidence, and because of that, it really affected that South Carolina team.
Lucas not on the floor right now for South Carolina. Samnick, nice dump down, and a clean block from behind, or is it? Yeah, it's a tie-up. And the arrow will keep it with Georgetown.
Nice passing again by Georgetown inside, but a better job defensively by South Carolina to get in there and block it. Watch this pass. Good catch underneath by Wilson, but the block down on the inside by Chuck Idson.
And now we got an offensive foul against the Hoyas to turn it back over again, and both teams committing a lot of turnovers early in this game. Coming up later on tonight right here on ESPN Live from Orlando, Chris Lee, Kirk, and Michelle Tafoya will be in Florida to hand out all the college football hardware. It's the ESPN Home Depot College Football Award Show following basketball here in Columbia. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Big Tony Kitchings with the soft touch.
You saw him play in Maui a lot, and you were impressed with him. You liked the way he played. He's put on a lot of weight from last year. And there's some thought that perhaps he would be a lot better if he lost about 20 or 25 pounds. That was a pretty good move.
Wesley Wilson, he can get up over anybody. What a soft touch from that mid-range jumper.
I'm telling you, he has developed into a real offensive threat.
Wilson already 4 for 5, 8 points. He's the high scorer in the game right now. And boy, Idson just got laid out. Gerald Riley, I believe.
Let's go back and take a look at this. I want to see this foul. I did not think Wesley Wilson committed this foul. I guess he did.
Yeah,
pushed there. He thought Riley was the guy that grabbed him, yeah. But they were right.
It was Wilson who caused the collision. That's 2 on Wilson. Braswell also has 2.
Dan, more importantly, that is 17 fouls already on Georgetown. So South Carolina now in the bonus.
Well, they got to make it happen at the line, something that, as we mentioned earlier, has been a big problem for them. Idson on the air. It's a pretty good free throw shooter at 75%.
That's what you like to see. They don't hit the rim. They don't bounce around. They don't fool around up there on the top. They just go straight through.
Just like the old days.
That's right. Just like the old days.
Well, you got to like what you see from Idson. Having trouble from the field, but getting it done from the line. And this continues to be back and forth. A close one here in Columbia. Crowd starting to rally behind the Gamecocks now.
3-2 defense. Watch Idson float down inside with Sweetney. Ball comes out top. He moves to the top of the key.
No Wilson, no Braswell right now for the Hoyas, each with 2 fouls. Freeman from the corner. Boy, the long rebound tapped into the hands of Bradley. 3-on-1, South Carolina, and Petrovicius can't finish.
I think it was blocked. I think Samnick might have gotten a piece of that.
At times, each team's had the opportunity to run. There's another turnover committed by the Hoyas on the travel by Riley, and usually it's Georgetown causing turnovers, not creating them themselves.
Let's go back and take a look at that block by Georgetown underneath. This is an outstanding play because Lucas gets the ball forward. He's got Petrovicius right underneath. Look at that block. Samnick from way out to come in and reject that shot. Tell you what, you don't get an easy one against Georgetown.
No. It seems like there are always about a half dozen guys, 6'7", 6'8", on a Georgetown team who can just run, jump, block shots, and rebound.
I think they manufacture them out there somewhere.
Lucas, a little push up to create some space. Can't turn the corner, though. Idson kicks it out to Bradley. He's the shooter. Now he's the driver.
I'll tell you what, he handled that wheel pretty well. Right down the lane.
And South Carolina's back on top. Sweetney trying to spin on Petrovicius. And we've got a foul on the play. Petrovicius picks up the foul. We're here inside of the Carolina Coliseum. Frank McGuire Arena. Dan Shulman, Larry Conley with you. 15th ranked Georgetown at 5-1, taking on unranked South Carolina at 5-2. A big story early. Turnovers, a problem, especially for Georgetown.
Those 5 guys we just looked at in the stands look like turnovers. They've been turning over in the dirt.
Kitchings on his way back in for the Gamecocks. Dave Odom's gone pretty deep into his bench as well.
Nice move.
Off balance, it goes.
I tell you what, Sweetney gets that deep with that one little turn with the ball on the floor, he'll score every time or you're fouling. Just too strong.
Well, just think if Sweetney and Wilson do learn to play together better over the course of the season, with the play of Braswell at the point and then all those wing guys to block shots and rebound, Georgetown has the makings of a pretty good team.
And right now, a lot of grabbing by Georgetown. They got another foul right now. Let's go back and take a look at the offensive move right here. You know what I liked about that? Sweetney did not put the ball on the floor. He did not jeopardize his position by allowing the defense to get in there and get the ball. He simply took it, went up with his strength there, an easy one from about 4 feet in front of the rim. If you're 6'8" and you weigh 250 or 60, that's what you do.
It's back to the line now for South Carolina after the foul by Thomas, his second. 5 players in the game already with 2 fouls.
I want to go back to the point I was just making because I don't want it to slip by. I think Georgetown is doing a little too much grabbing and not enough footwork. And I think that's the reason they have so many fouls right now. They've got 18 fouls. They've got 8:38 to play in the first half.
8 points, including 4 for 4 from the line. And again, the lead changes hands. Wonder how long the rest Braswell's going to get with his 2 fouls. Samnick in trouble.
Well, Samnick might have gotten bumped on that shot.
Carlos Powell kicks it out to Bradley for 3. And Idson with a big bump, and he got called a little bit late, but Carl Hess did make the right call.
That was like a delayed reaction. Idson did get it, though. He pushed off to try to get in to get the rebound.
Dave Odom may not be so sure, way down at the other end of the floor.
Nice conversation with Dave last night.
Pretty excited about this opportunity. He told us out at Maui, usually when you take a new job, you've got to rebuild a program from scratch. And clearly that's not the case here in Columbia. The top 6 scorers for the Gamecocks from last year are back. So he's got a deep and a veteran ball club. Samnick baseline, tough pass, and a great catch by Sweetney.
Boy, is he playing great in the lane tonight. That's 2 good plays by Sweetney. That was a terrific catch because it was difficult. He had to reach back over his head.
Showing no signs of that Achilles problem. And now when Lucas puts it into that extra gear, he's going to draw a foul just about every time.
Well, what's going to happen is if he gets by the guard that's guarding him, and that time Drew Hall could not keep up with him, he just simply blew right down the lane. Watch Sweetney with that catch. Again, did not put the ball on the floor and got it up and in. You know, it's a small little thing in basketball, but it's really important. There's so many big guys that want to put it on the floor before they take it up. Sweetney has been taught well.
Just a habit you get into?
Yeah, it's just a habit. You know, he must have had a good high school coach, and I'm sure that Craig Esherick has told him, don't put the ball on the floor, don't give the little guy a chance. That's a violation. Somebody walked into the lane. It looked like Lucas. No, it's not. It was before he got the shot. I looked up there and I saw Gerald Riley walk into the position. You cannot change your position when you walk in there, but he had not attempted the shot.
A little bit of a warning from Tim Higgins, that's all, as Lucas hits the front end. We talked about the free throw problems. No problems tonight. 8 for 8 from the line as a team for South Carolina.
In the professional ranks, they don't worry about walking in and out of those positions. College, cardinal rule, you don't do it.
Timeout on the floor. Back and forth they've gone to the entire night. Right now it's South Carolina by 1, thanks in part to Jamel Bradley getting to the hoop. Well, we mentioned this is the final year here at Frank McGuire Arena, just about a block or so away here in Columbia. A yet to be named 18,000 seat state-of-the-art facility will be the new basketball home for the South Carolina men and women's basketball programs. All you need is a few bucks to get your name on the building, and Conley Coliseum's got a nice room too.
I'm sure my $10 will get my name on there.
Well, it's a big year for South Carolina. kind of middle of the pack in the SEC, fourth in their half of the league. How do you see them slotting into the SEC?
It's going to be very, very difficult in that Eastern Division because you've got Kentucky and Florida sitting right there at the top, and they're two of the better clubs, not only in this conference, but in the country. Western Division is a little bit of a different story.
Yeah.
You've got Auburn, Arkansas, and Alabama. I think all three contesting. LSU right now is undefeated in that Western Division, too.
Look at all these chances for Georgetown, but finally a foul over the back. It might have been Cortland Freeman committing that foul. And that's kind of a staple for Georgetown. They'll go to the glass hard.
I'll tell you something. I think the Big East is up for grabs this year. There are a number of good clubs up there. Syracuse has surprised me the way they've come out of the gate, playing very well. By the way, I want to pass on my regards to Jim Boeheim. I hope he's all right. Everything goes well.
Yep.
One of my favorite guys to visit with, even though he does whine too much.
Connecticut looks pretty good. Georgetown will be in the mix. BC, the defending champs. Notre Dame is solid. You know, Miami's got a lot of people coming back. They're kind of sneaking under the radar, but they'll need some people.
Yeah, they do have. I agree with you. And I think there are a lot of people in the Big East somewhat concerned about that Miami squad because of all the quality talent they've got coming back.
Free throws continue to be a big story. You made the point early that Georgetown was committing too many fouls. They were reaching and grabbing, and it put South Carolina on the line, and the Gamecocks have hit every one of their free throws so far tonight.
Yeah, they've responded. You didn't even jinx it.
I was sure that was going to miss. I was positive. Chris Warren defies the odds. And by the standards of this game, this is an overwhelming lead, 3 points. A lot of contact underneath. 2 South Carolina players were over in the vicinity. Let's see who gets the foul.
You know, sometimes you get an open side of the court like that, and you've got a set play you'd like to run, but if the defense clears out and allows you to go, you've got to take the chance to go in there. And that's exactly what Gerald Riley did. He put the ball on the floor, drew 3 South Carolina players over there, and he was already to the basket by the time they got there.
Foul on Carlos Powell, his first. Riley at the line, shooting 84% from the line this year. Don't forget, after us tonight, 9 Eastern here on ESPN, the Home Depot College Football Awards Show with Chris Lee, the coach, and Michelle Tafoya down in Orlando. That is the ESPN Home Depot College Football Awards Show following our game tonight. And a travel is called on Lucas. Boy, uncharacteristic. We've already seen 2 turnovers committed by him. In his last 4 games, he had committed only 4.
But what's causing that is the Georgetown pressure. It's a nice job that time by the Hoyas to get Lucas in a position where he couldn't handle the ball.
Both of these teams come into the game having forced a ton more turnovers than they themselves have committed. But they've both been a little sloppily handling the ball here tonight. There's another example, although the Hoyas get it back. Samnick way too long from the wing. And now he's hearing a predictable air ball chant from the crowd.
It was a tough breakdown underneath. I thought Carlos Powell was going to be able to come up with a basketball, but he fell out of bounds with it.
Yeah, he's a guy who out at Maui played some terrific basketball, just a freshman, but he's been a lot quieter ever since they came back to the mainland.
Yeah, he averaged 12 points a game out there in Maui. Must be something about the weather for him.
Samnick with a tough 15-footer.
That was the guy that just tried the air ball.
That's right.
Good pass.
Bounces free to Itson. Itson's had a nice first half. Lucas will reset him. The unquestioned leader on this South Carolina team.
2-3 Georgetown zone defense. No pressure on the ball. They're going to allow the wing pass to be made.
And nobody really filling the middle. Now here comes Warren. Nobody flashing to the foul line for the Gamecocks. Warren from the corner. No. And the long rebound comes to the Hoyas, who are on the run. And now Warren complicates matters by committing a foul.
Chris Warren trying to get over there to try to make up for the shot that he missed down in the corner. He had a good screen. Good look at it.
And back to the line to go the Hoyas. Kind of strange to see a Georgetown team as a group shooting very well from the line. We talked about South Carolina's problems before tonight. The Hoyas, traditionally a team, really not a good shooting team. Athletic and tough and physical, but they're getting it done from the line. And Craig Esherick is intentionally, maybe unintentionally, who knows, kind of changing the mold of Georgetown teams that we've become accustomed to over the years.
I'll tell you what, he had a good club last year. They were 25-8, got to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA, and deserved it.
Yeah, there's a travel.
He traveled again. Good trap that time. Braswell, Sweetney all over Lucas.
8th turnover committed by South Carolina. We talked about Lucas, how tough he has been and how good he has been hanging on to the ball the last 4 games. He's got as many turnovers tonight as he had in his last 4 games combined, to give Georgetown a lot of the credit. Braswell gets a screen, knocks it down.
Nicely done. Nobody came to challenge him after the screen was made at the top. Got a little separation from the defense and an easy one from about 12 feet.
Braswell's first 3 years, he was a 36% shooter. He's at 49% this year.
How about 48% from threes?
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
Greg Esherick told us he worked hard on it over the summer, and he's got the green light.
Hoyas still back in that 2-3 zone. South Carolina content to work the perimeter.
Shot clock winding down to 10. Bradley's got to make something happen here. Little push off, tough one, left it short. Into the hands of Braswell, and he'll reset.
You know, some guys just have a sixth sense that somebody's around them or behind them. Yeah. Braswell has that sense. He pulled that ball out.
Hard to believe he wasn't a point guard in high school. Offensive foul. He can't believe it as Kitchings steps out and takes the charge.
And Esherick just sprinted about 30 yards almost down into the stands. He can't believe this call.
What do you think?
I thought he was moving. I thought it was a blocking foul. It's going to go the other way, though.
And the significance is that's the 3rd foul on Kevin Braswell. So you know he's done for the last 4:51 of the first half. And that changes things for Georgetown. Hall will be the point guard, will be the quarterback, but they lose a good ball handler, a good scorer, and a good defensive player, all wrapped up into the body of Kevin Braswell.
I'll tell you one thing, though. You got to give Kitchings a lot of credit. He really made a great fake. You know, he leads his club in charges taken. Can you imagine a center leading your club in charges taken?
Got both big guys for South Carolina, Kitchings and Petrovicius, on the floor at the same time. Petrovicius has been kind of quiet tonight. Kitchings, that's what he did very well in Hawaii. Showed nice range on that jump shot. Not this time. Sweetney wants Wilson. Boy, Wilson having to work just to catch the ball and the strength to finish as well.
What an effort. He got it in there, and he got it between Edson and Kitchings.
10 points on the night for Wilson, and there's an example of what Coach Esherick was talking about. Sweetney and Wilson playing high-low and working together.
Georgetown again changes defenses back to man-to-man.
Victor Samnick is hurt for Georgetown, number 13, somewhere on his right foot as he's hobbling around. Hoya ball. The Gamecocks can't believe it. And now Mike Kitts is going to come over to talk to Carl Hess, and they may turn this one over. And they do.
Go back and take a look at the play. Jamel Bradley right here loses control of the basketball as he makes the turn. It goes right off of his leg. Ball as it went out of bounds, or was it Riley? It was Riley down underneath.
Samnick has come out of the game. An injured right foot or toe possibly, and he's in a lot of pain over on the Georgetown bench right now. Well, a pretty big lineup on the floor right now for Georgetown. 6'11", 6'9", 6'8", and a 6'6" guard. Lucas airballs the 3. Hoya ball.
Well, Georgetown putting a lot of pressure on the South Carolina shooting right now.
They've got a 5-point lead despite some foul problems for their leader, Kevin Braswell. Georgetown ranked on the road, trying to pick up their first real quality win on the season. 30-25 Hoyas lead, late stages, first half here in Columbia. Or just turned it funny when he was playing defense, but got a lot of depth, and we've seen that tonight as Craig Esherick has gone 10 deep, and his 2 big guys, Larry, Mike Sweetney and Wesley Wilson, have combined to go 8 for 10 from the floor.
Well, there are a couple of things going on right now. One, the fact that Georgetown's defense is causing South Carolina all kinds of problems, but more importantly, I think the rebounding for Georgetown has been really the key in the first half, out rebounding them 16-7 so far.
Remember, that's something Craig Esherick, we asked him today, what did you learn from the loss against Georgia? And he said, I learned we're not a very good rebounding team. Well, they've obviously corrected the problem here so far tonight. Ball floats in, knocked away by Petrovicius, and we've got an offensive foul against the Hoyas.
Yeah, it looked like Drew Hall was a little bit out of control. Edson was in position to draw the charge, and I think he did.
That's number 2 on Hall there, and they've got to keep him on the floor because Braswell's already got 3.
I think I would have let that one go.
Tim Higgins didn't hear you. He's right in front of you, though. You want to say it again?
No. Timmy will come after me.
Yeah. That's the 12th turnover committed. And now Hall, with the 2 fouls, is going to go out. And Trent Hillier a 5'9" junior who's a wide receiver on the football team and is used sparingly, comes in here apparently to get 3.5 minutes of action.
I'll tell you what, all he needs to do is just hold them right where they are, and he will have successfully done what he was asked to do.
Does not play very often, but point guard foul trouble for Georgetown here in the first half.
2-3 zone by Georgetown.
Lucas trying to get free behind a screen. Bradley's had a quiet first half.
Georgetown doing a nice job moving the zone defense.
Kitchings, everything but the finish. Tapped back out to Whitson. Boy, pretty strong idea, though, by Big Kitchings.
Couldn't finish.
Now whips it over to Bradley for the open three.
He can. Best three-point shooter on this squad. Maybe one of the best in the Southeastern Conference.
47% on the season. Bradley averaging 15 points per game coming in, and that's the first made three-pointer by either team in this game.
Bradley has now made a three-point field goal in 50 of his 51 games, his last 51 that he's played.
What a nice story he is as well, too. A guy with a severe hearing loss as a kid now wears hearing aids, and he got refitted with newer, better hearing aids when he came to South Carolina. And he has regained through the use of the hearing aids about 80% of his hearing, but he always speaks to hearing impaired kids. Hearing aids that he wears on the floor. You've gotten to know him over the years covering the SEC. Terrific player and an even better person.
He's a terrific guy, Dan. I spent a lot of time with him when he was a freshman coming in. He told me all about his handicap. He doesn't really consider it that. I mean, he just simply goes out and plays. Doesn't even think that he has any impairment at all. He plays the game the way everybody else plays it.
And he plays it well, knocking down that three to get South Carolina back within a deuce.
Good defense by Georgetown. Good man-to-man defense. I think just Riley 6'6" out on Lucas out front.
Lucas finds Bradley, gets free again. Not this time. Petrovicius with a strong rebound. Right back up, left hand, and it's in.
Pretty good move by the Lithuanian that time.
5 straight points, South Carolina, fans on their feet. Thomas baseline knocked away. Offensive foul against the Hoyas.
Player control that looked like Thomas. Was he the one with the ball on the baseline? Was it Kitchings again that drew it? Another charge taken by the big center. Thomas looks around. Look at the reaction there. Tony Kitchings says yes.
Yeah, he's done some nice things. Taken a couple of charges. Whipped that pass to Bradley for the three. Had a strong move down the lane. Couldn't finish on the dunk. But look at the turnovers.
A lot of turnovers for Georgetown. That's a lot more than they're usually making, at least this year.
That foul on Thomas, his third. So Braswell with 3, Thomas with 3. 3 other Hoyas, including Wesley Wilson, each with 2.
One of the things Craig Escherich's got to do with his club right now in this final minute and 51 seconds is tell them to back off a little bit.
Coming up at halftime, Reese Davis, Sports Center in-game. Jason Giambi, is it done? As he left the West Coast to move to the East Coast. Also the latest on the Notre Dame coaching situation, and a look at some of the other college basketball games around the country here tonight. Things have changed, haven't they, since Kevin Braswell went to the bench?
Well, it's a different Georgetown team when Kevin Braswell isn't on the floor.
And now Hall is back in, but Hilliard stays in there, so a different look now for the Hoyas.
And they go back to their man-to-man. Hall's going to pick up Bradley. They're not going to let Bradley shoot any more threes out there.
Hilliard on Lucas. Kitchings from just inside the arc. And the rebound for Sweetney.
Sweetney's done a great job off the glass on both ends tonight.
Averaging almost 8 boards per game. Riley spins, discards his man, but misses a low percentage shot. Petrovicius loses the handle, and Georgetown takes over. And Drew Hall says, you know what? Enough of this. Let's slow it down.
Good idea. The professor says back it.
Good poise there for the freshman. Riley baseline, almost nowhere to go, but he found a little room, drew the foul.
I'll tell you one thing I like about Gerald Riley's game. He can put it on the floor and get to the basket in a hurry. The guy 6'6" out of Milledgeville, Georgia, just south of Atlanta. Look at that left hand, very quick to the basket. South Carolina did not react very well to him. Look at this. He went right by Edson. You can see Kitchings trying to come over and help, but he was already at the basket by the time the help was there.
Riley coming off a 19-point, 8-rebound game against Bethune-Cookman. And as a 6'6" 2 guard, that's a real bonus, those rebounds. Craig Escherich says he's a much better defensive player than he thought he was.
He recruited him as a shooter.
Yep.
One thing I like about it is his slash game. I mean, he really puts it on the floor and gets there to the basket.
Petrovic is out. Powell comes back in.
Sometimes you get a guy 6'5", 6'6" coming out of high school. It's tough for them to make the adjustment to the perimeter when they've been playing inside.
Portland Freeman returns for Wesley Wilson. I think Carlos Powell for South Carolina is one of those guys. He was a post player in high school and now is a freshman here in Columbia being asked to play on the wing. And somebody other than Lucas is going to bring it up. Warren brings it over. But now back into the hands of the leader.
Double stack on either side of the free throw lane.
Well, Riley recovers quickly defensively as well.
He got quick feet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Warren gets a step on him, finds Kitchings on the baseline, muscles his way to the hoop, but it won't stay down. Now Kitchings still on the floor, bodies everywhere as Lucas.
I don't think that's going to count.
Yeah.
No. They have to wave that off. That ball was above the cylinder. No question about this. You'll see Tony Kitchings. He was one of the guys that got nailed. He got back up off the floor. Now he wanted to touch the ball, but it was on the rim. You cannot touch that ball when it's up there. They had about 5 guys laying on the floor down there.
Demolition derby under the Hoya basket.
Like somebody was going for a 10-pin. They got 5 of them.
Well, they knocked down the biggest one when Kitchings hit the floor. He's been very active tonight. Sometimes the finesse hasn't been there, but the effort has been very good. Shot clock is turned off here. The Hoyas with a 2-point lead and potentially the final possession of the first half.
Zone defense by South Carolina. They're trying to pack it back in.
Got to get it started now. Down to 5 seconds. Riley settles for the 3. Why not, huh? Why not? With a second to go, Gerald Riley, who had a very good first half, bounces off the floor. His 3-pointer with the buzzer sends the Hoyas to the break with a 5-point lead. All right, now we're ready to go.
Only an Irishman could say it that way. You know? Just a big wad of gum.
And we are underway in the second half. South Carolina with the ball down 5.
Georgetown 2-3 zone. Watch South Carolina work the perimeter again. They'll look for Petrovic inside if they can.
Remember the foul trouble. Kevin Braswell's got 3 for the Hoyas. Rolando Howell in heavy traffic. Lucas just can't lose Braswell right now.
It's in once Petrovic just can't get it. There's Bradley.
Quick release from the corner. It's good.
I'm telling you, he gets rid of the ball as quickly as anybody in college basketball on the 3-point shot.
Outstanding outside shooter, back to a 2-point game. Look at Sweetney handling. Couple of dribbles, couple of spin moves. Hall with the offensive rebound, and then he's held as we have a change in the lineup for Georgetown at the outset of the second half with Samnick out with that foot injury right now.
That's always important that when you get the ball, you've got to square and get the ball up quickly because you know you've got some Georgetown defenders running at you. Bradley got it all they could get to him.
And there's Samnick still getting some attention on that foot. Tough pass. Too close, too hard.
Yeah, but you know, there's a situation where Wilson has to have his hands up. He's got to be prepared to receive that. He saw the double team come, and Sweetney made the right decision. He turned to look at him to give him the ball, and he wasn't ready to receive it. It was a little bit of a bullet.
So let's set the lineup for you with Samnick out. It's Hall and Braswell in the backcourt for Georgetown. Sweetney gambles and misses. Lucas a nice look away, and he'll finish strong.
I'm going to tell you what, he really took a blow, too, going inside.
Yep. He could have been at the line as well. You're right. And South Carolina, the first 5 points of the second half to tie the game. Riley for 3. Not this time. He had the 3 right at the end of the first half, and a more wild basketball as 3 players go down. Bradley behind the back.
Oh, what a move. What a move by Jamel Bradley.
And
you talk about handling it. What, these guards are putting on a show.
It's a 7-0 run for South Carolina to start the second half and take the lead on this spectacular drive by Jamel Bradley.
A little float, a little off balance, and a big blow. I think that's good. Watch this move by Jamel Bradley. Inside, behind the back, the reverse layup. Oh, how pretty that is.
I didn't think that ball had any chance of going in when it sat on the rim. But look at what Lucas and Bradley have already done here in the second half. We have had 10 lead changes in this game. Thomas checks back in now for the Hoyas. Sweetney strong inside, and that's big. Georgetown's biggest advantage is Sweetney. Did he hush the crowd on his way back down the floor?
Put his finger up in front of his mouth right there as if to say, shh, no more.
And we're tied at 37, 2 minutes into the second half.
You know, as much as we just talked about Lucas and Bradley, how about the job Braswell did in the first half of handling it?
Itson with all kind of space, and you can see, Larry, he's tentative. He passed up an open shot and stepped into some trouble.
Nice pass right there.
Wilson with the easy 2 on the feed from Harvey Thomas.
Thomas with a great look inside. That's what you do. You get it to a teammate who's open. Nicely done. Good break that time by the Hoyas.
Wilson now with a dozen points, 6 for 7 from the floor. And the entry pass taken away. Wilson knocked it away. That'll be charged, I would assume, as another turnover on Lucas.
Well, that time Kitchens didn't make an effort to go get the ball. When the pass is made to you, you got to go get it. Itson with the push.
And he is called for the foul.
Yeah, I can tell you the number of times I see a post guy try to receive the basketball down low. You know, don't just squat down and receive the ball. Go get it. Take a step forward, do something. Don't allow that defensive guy to get in front of you or to saddle up to you to the side to slap it away.
Lucas slaps it away. Can he get to the basket? Yes.
I thought he might have gotten fouled again.
Yeah, he ran hard into the support under the basket as well, but he appears to be okay.
That's 2 blows he's taken underneath there. Tough kid.
Yeah, a couple of them in the backcourt. All these guards, really. Braswell for Georgetown, Lucas and Bradley for South Carolina, all playing their hearts out. And there's number 4 on Kevin Braswell.
Well, Craig Asherick has no decision to make now. All he's got to do is make sure he gets Braswell out of there and back in late. His decision is simply to put him over there for a while. No thinking about this. Yeah, he knew it, too.
How many charges have the Gamecocks taken tonight? 5 or 6?
At least.
Kitchings, we've seen 3, I think, already from the big guy. This is one of those situations. Make a note of the time and the score. 17 minutes to go, tied at 39 when Braswell goes to the bench. Howell's blocked. Here comes Sweetney, the big guy leading the break. And that's why big guys don't lead the break.
Yeah, I should have given it up. He got to midcourt with the ball, and he says, hey, I got an open path. I don't get this chance very often.
He may not get it again. No Braswell, remember. Hall's the ball handler now. Kitchen, no. Sweetney, another rebound. He has been tough on the glass. Hall, just a freshman. He's going to get some big minutes here tonight. Thomas on the baseline, a rebound Howell. It seems we can't go a trip without somebody hitting the floor. Lucas, Bradley wide open, and a foul.
The Cardinals said, don't foul a three-point shooter. Jamel Bradley gets open. Aaron Lucas finds him. Don't jump into the shooter when it's gone, and Bradley nails it. Chance for a 4-point play.
Foul on Thomas, his 4th, as Cortland Freeman comes back in. The South Carolina bench erupts. One of the rarest plays in basketball. Jamel Bradley with a chance to complete the 4-point play, but first things first, he is slow to get to his feet. He's not going to get taken out now, though. Well, only about 165 pounds, but just as tough as his backcourt made. And this is a guy out in Maui against UCLA, scored 21 points in the second half against the Bruins.
I'm going to say, when he gets rolling, I mean, he is really tough to stop.
And now
they're going to take him out. They're going to put a shooter in for him. I'll tell you what happened. The trainer came out on the floor. You know, when the trainer comes out, you got to make a decision. You either got to go to the bench or it's a timeout. They didn't want to take the timeout, so they replaced him.
So Chris Warren comes in cold off the bench, and he'll shoot the free throw. And now Bradley trying to stay loose down at the end of the court.
That may have cost him.
Yep.
Cost him at least 1 point. Bradley, an 89% free throw shooter.
South Carolina up 3. That's the Gamecocks' first free throw miss of the game. 11 for 11 in the first half. Wilson draws the immediate double team. Sweetney from just inside the arc. What a nice game he has as he hushes the crowd again.
Sweetney having a good second half.
Boynton back into the game. Here he is, another lefty. And the rebound to Sweetney. Up and down the floor going to Mike Sweetney right now.
Sweetney's controlling both ends of the floor.
Oh, they're big right now. 6'11", 6'9", 6'8". Go the Hoyas across the front line. Knocked away.
Not a good pass by Sweetney that time. He should have gotten it up a little bit higher to Wilson.
18th turnover committed by the Hoyas. Howell's got to get going for South Carolina. That'll help.
Way to go, coach.
Sophomore from right here in Columbia, and you would know better than I would. A very highly thought of player out of high school, a kid this program needed to have.
Indeed he was. Had a good freshman year last year.
Petrovicius with a block on Riley. Can they control it? Can they get it over?
The floor. Yeah, that's right. Charge! Oh, my.
Boy, this has been more like roller derby than basketball at times, but it has been fun to watch. The hometown Gamecocks off and running here in the second half, up 3. Well, Larry, I don't know if you would agree. Not a whole lot of style points being given out tonight. At times it has looked, I said roller derby, I was overruled. They're calling it football now, but great effort by both teams. Guys hitting the floor on every play, and they're leaving it all out there right now, aren't they?
Well, there's a lot of them leaving it on the floor all over the country.
And we're going to see some of the top college football players of the year being honored at the ESPN Home Depot College Football Award Show coming up next right here on ESPN. The Walter Camp All-American Team, Coach of the Year, Disney Spirit Award, and many others being handed out tonight in Orlando with Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Malik Corso, and Michelle Tafoya.
Somebody made an awfully nice sign up there for our promo, whoever that was.
People are putting some effort in. Effort on the floor, effort in the stands tonight here at McGuire Arena.
Promo department must be mailing out banners now.
I think so. That's 3 on Howell. 2 Hoyas. Harvey Thomas and, more importantly, Kevin Braswell on the bench with 4 fouls right now.
2-3 zone right now being employed by South Carolina. Georgetown working the perimeter. They still have a pretty big lineup in there.
And that 3-2, as you called it, Idson stepping up to the top of the middle, and Hall, the freshman point guard, trying to explore this defense right now, but different ball handler out there than Braswell. Cortland Freeman left it short, and it's still Georgetown ball with 7 on the shot clock.
They're going to say the ball never hit the rim. It was pretty close.
Here's Wilson. Turnaround jumper. He elevates. Too strong. Sweetney, another rebound. And he's fouled underneath the basket.
He has 4 points and 4 rebounds in the second half. Mike Sweetney really getting it done. I mean, we haven't even played 6 minutes yet. Sweetney is carrying this Georgetown team right now. He's keeping them afloat. Missed by Wilson. Sweetney with a good position. You can see the bump right there. Looked like Idson was the one that got him.
Mike Sweetney, tender Achilles and all. Already a double-double in this game, just 6 minutes into the second half.
Dan, I like this young man last year as a freshman. He had a terrific year last year. I saw him play against Louisville, and I thought, and I told Craig at the time that I thought he had the makings of being one of the better players in the Big East. He has really come back, and it looks like he's going to have an awfully good sophomore campaign, too.
Got some great experience in the summertime playing for Jim Boeheim at the World Championship for Young Men, the Junior World Championships in Japan. Played with the likes of Nick Collison, Carlos Boozer, Chris Duhon on a gold medal winning USA team.
Nice screen right there for Idson.
Whips a pass into the paint, and Sweetney anticipated that beautifully.
What a game. Rebounding, shooting, stealing.
With no Braswell, no Thomas, and no Samnick with the injured foot. Sweetney really stepping up.
You know, oftentimes you need a guy to do that. It's nice to know that you've got Sweetney on the floor out there to be the guy who leads everybody else.
Freeman trying to create a little space. 6'9", small forward on the floor. Wilson has a nice touch on that mid-range jumper.
Nice little turnaround jumper. Gets a little separation between he and the defender. That time, he got it right over Petrovicius.
A game-high 14 points for Wesley Wilson. Now Bradley hits the floor. Now he gets up, launches the three.
He's the guy you got to guard. If you're going to find somebody on this Gamecock club to guard beyond that three-point stripe, it's got to be Bradley.
South Carolina's got 4 threes tonight, and Bradley's got all of them. Here's Wilson inside, got by Kitchings, who's got a foul.
The other thing I like about Wilson, not only does he have that nice turnaround, soft jump shot, but if you go out to guard him, he can put it on the floor and get to the basket. That's exactly what he did right there, causing Tony Kitchings all kinds of problems.
Now, we talked about some of his big numbers in his last 2 games, albeit against weaker competition than tonight. Wilson with 44 points and 23 rebounds in his last 2 games. Now he's got 14 points tonight. You mentioned earlier he's got only 1 rebound in the game. I guess Sweeteney's not letting him have any.
He's taking them all away from him.
We've got an entertaining game here in South Carolina. The Gamecocks and the Georgetown Hoyas ranked 15th in the country. First meeting in 23 years between these 2 programs. Dan Shulman, Larry Conley with you. Big crowd, close to a sellout here at Frank McGuire Arena. They have seen a good game, a fast-paced, physical game. A lot of turnovers, a lot of foul problems for Georgetown. But they're hanging in there right now. Kevin Braswell has 4 fouls. Harvey Thomas has 4. Victor Samonic's got a bad foot. And now Trenton Hilliard's back into the game again.
Well, Luke's doing a nice job of handling that pressure.
Warren from the wing. Weak side rebound, Bradley. Whoops, Warren wasn't looking. And here's Hilliard, the wide receiver, coming up with a loose ball.
Smart move. Get it to the outside.
Riley. And Kitchings brings down the rebound. Pace picking up. Lucas trying to go all the way. Oh, it bounced halfway down and came back out.
Pretty good transition game going on right now.
Who's his favorite?
I think it favors Georgetown. This is a club that came in averaging 88 points a game.
Yep. South Carolina down near 70. That one's going to go against the Hoyas as Hall picks up the foul, and that'll be his 3rd.
And guess who took it?
Kitchings has stood his ground time and time again to help him on the defensive end. On the offensive end, the big story for the Gamecocks in the second half, the shooting of Jamel Bradley. South Carolina up 2. Well, with their leader Kevin Braswell on the bench with 4 fouls, this is a very important game for Georgetown. They've only played 1 real high-caliber team so far this season. That was Georgia, and they were pounded by 14 on a neutral court. Can they win on the road with their leader missing a lot of time with a foul trouble and Victor Samonic out with a bad foot? This would be a nice statement win, I think, for the Hoyas, even though they're the ranked team and South Carolina's unranked.
And Dan, I think that more importantly is the fact that they would win a true road game, because this is their first true road game.
They've got some tough ones coming up out of conference, Virginia and UCLA, before they get into the Big East. South Carolina's already had a couple of tough ones, losses to Duke and UCLA. Out of Maui. Well, Tony Kitchings isn't going to miss that one, is it?
Somebody got hung up on a screen. No one gets that wide open underneath unless you get hung up on a screen.
Since Braswell went out with his 4th foul 5.5 minutes ago, South Carolina's outscoring Georgetown 10-6 to open up this 4-point lead. Petrovicius picks it off, but it was Kitchings who knocked it free. 20th turnover.
Can't force that pass inside like that. You've got to make sure that that guy's wide open in that paint.
Boynton, Bradley, Petrovicius, no.
You know, I think he was surprised he was so wide open.
You're right. Lucas on the bench right now for South Carolina. Banging bodies down low. Off the glass, nice touch. This guy is going to be a load this year.
I'm going to tell you, back the yellow bus up, because he is schooling Petrovicius right now.
17 points for Wilson. Bradley free behind. Misses the shot. They were lucky there. Wilson didn't come out and get on him. And again, Hall doesn't play to Georgetown pace for a freshman. He'll slow it down and walk it up the floor.
Bradley with a little more pressure on Hall out front. There's the good pass. Travis with another good defensive play.
Big guys have been very active for South Carolina here in the second half. Petravoshus again. Is he going to make a move?
Good job by Wilson holding his ground. Did not take the fake.
Midway point of the second half. Slender 2-point lead, South Carolina. Warren into the paint, throws up a prayer. No basket. No basket. It's a travel.
Dan, I'm not sure he didn't get a little bump coming underneath that caused that travel. I think Dave Odom feels that way. Watch again. You'll see the move right here by Chris Warren. Goes down the lane. I think he got a little bit of a knee, which forced him to go into that paint area. Take that extra step.
Warren comes out. Lucas comes back in.
I'll tell you one thing. These guys have let him play today.
Yeah, they have. Georgetown always a physical team, and South Carolina meeting the challenge here tonight. The Gamecocks have taken 5 charges tonight, 3 of them by Tony Kitchings. Sweetness. You know, and that seems to be the better combination. Wilson finding Sweetney than the other way around, because Sweetney's so good at catching the ball in traffic.
Well, and the other thing is when Sweetney's got the ball trying to drop it inside, Wilson not moving as well, much better facing the basket. Watch this catch right here. Sweetney once again not putting the ball on the floor, going strong to the rack. Love the way this guy plays.
At the line, a 76% free throw shooter on the season. The big guys, Wilson and Sweetney, have combined for 31 of Georgetown's points tonight. And the Hoyas are back out in front.
Kevin Braswell back on the floor, huh?
Interesting, with 4 fouls and better than 9 minutes to go.
I'm going to imagine they'll stay in this zone for a while to protect him.
Bradley, nobody on him, but he misses one here, and the rebound to Whitson, who's fouled. Now with the Braswell coming back in, Larry, we should mention that after that late run there by the Hoyas, when Braswell was out, Georgetown actually outscored South Carolina by a point.
Did Drew Hall pick up that foul?
Yep, and that's 4 on him.
Yeah.
And now he's going to come out, and Hillier comes back in. Some unexpected minutes for Trenton Hillier tonight.
It's probably the last thing he expected was to play all this time down here tonight.
Well, they've got another guard, Tony Bethel, who's out with mononucleosis, out at least another week. Otherwise, he would be the combo guard, the first guy off the bench.
Bethel, the freshman out of Fort Washington, Maryland. Georgetown coaching staff very high on this young man.
Hope to have him back in about 10 days. Whitson just loves that ball fake. Lucas finds a little room. Dumped down for Rolando Howell.
That was good patience by South Carolina that time, Dan. They took good care of the basketball, found the opening, put the ball in the hands of the right guy, Lucas, who got it down inside for the jam.
I think that's now 11 lead changes in this game. Hillier. Well, that's not going to work. 5'9", and he telegraphed it.
For the Gamecocks, entering the lineup, number 23.
Warren back in for Idson.
Chuck Idson.
1-point lead, Gamecocks.
South Carolina's going to play it straight up man-to-man.
Sweetney hard into the paint, and a soft touch for the big man.
Has he been terrific tonight? I mean, he really has played well.
Remember, a guy who's played only, what, 14 minutes in his last 3 games because of the injury?
Tell you what, he has played about the way we expected to see him play before the injury occurred.
And about the way the rest of the Big East is worried.
He still got it. I thought he took an extra step.
You got to like the things the big man's done tonight.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about the guards. The big guys have played pretty well tonight, too, on both ends.
Riley left alone in the corner. And there's Kitchings with a rebound. Nice outlet, too. Lucas.
There's that man.
Bradley for 3. And now Braswell brings him back up the other way. This has been a good one here tonight.
South Carolina's going to stay with that man-to-man. Good screen by Sweetney, allowing Braswell to get inside.
Splits it and floats it home. He is tough.
Well, they got the good screen that time. Sweetney went out and set it for him, and South Carolina did not react well. Didn't fight over, didn't switch, and he went right at him.
Braswell now with 8. The Hoyas back on top. Hillier on Bradley right now off the ball. So Lucas looks to Kitchings. Fadeaway jumper. I told you.
Nice move.
He did that about 6 or 7 times out at Maui. Now remember, Petrovicius wasn't there, suspended, so Tony Kitchings had to play a lot of minutes then. Hilliard lobs it in for Sweetney. Over Kitchings, and a foul.
I'm telling you, these big guys are really putting on a show tonight. Sweetney, Wilson, Kitchings, Howell. We talk a lot about the guards because they handle it most of the time, but I'm going to tell you, these inside guys, where the beef is, getting it done. Terrific turnaround jump shot. Right in the face of the defense. Watch it again. Good catch. The look to the inside, the spin to the baseline, the line drive jumper, and he got fouled, and he goes to the line for a 3-point chance.
Freeman out, Wilson back in. Sweetney, who is averaging 16.4 points per game, already has 18 tonight, and you can see he hardly played at all because of the Achilles problem in his last 3 games. Warren is free. How does that happen?
Oh, somebody went to sleep.
Uncontested two-handed jam for Warren. Yet another lead change.
South Carolina's gone away man-to-man, back to the zone.
Underneath, somehow Riley finds some room on the baseline.
On a good pass from Sweetney.
South Carolina really pushing it back up the floor now. Petrovicius has returned for the Gamecocks.
Good switch that time by Sweetney out front. Pushed Warren all the way out.
Lucas double teamed, loses it. Hilliard, no numbers. And Lucas with a pretty easy block there. Up and down they have gone, and back and forth. The lead has gone all night long. The Hoyas on the road, clinging to a 1-point lead in spite of this acrobatic jam by Chris Warren. Georgetown on the road, up 1 with the ball. Braswell, the point guard, playing with 4 fouls. Floater again.
Not a good shot. That was not a good shot.
Wilson. Loose ball comes to Lucas. Well, they got to get Bradley. He's loose in the corner. Now Hall finds him. Now Warren wide open for 3. And Kitchings very fortunate to not be called for a foul going over the back there.
For the Gamecocks reentering the lineup.
5:27 to go. This has been a good one and a close one from the outset. If memory serves, the biggest lead in this game either way has been 5 points, and that was the lead that Georgetown had at the half. Dan Shulman, Larry Conley with you here in Columbia, South Carolina. The 5-1 Georgetown Hoyas against the 5-2 South Carolina Gamecocks.
Very entertaining game tonight.
From the wing, and he knocks it down, and Georgetown extends the lead.
Big basket. Drew Hall, very good 3-point shooter. Came into this game at 43%. He just nailed a big one right there to give them a 4-point lead.
Freshman averaging about 6.5 points per game, under 5 minutes to play. Rolando Howell's going to check back into the next opportunity for South Carolina. Kitchings, remember, he's a lefty. Spins to the baseline. I'm telling you.
Wow. Couple of big moves right there by the big lefty on the baseline. We've had some outs tonight.
He didn't start the game, but from the moment he entered the game, he had his mindset to get some things done. Nowhere to go for Braswell. Good tough D by Lucas.
Lucas keeping Braswell out of the middle of that paint area.
Tough catch for Sweetney, but he'll finish.
How about the pass by Braswell? Sweetney with all that strength and power inside. 3 South Carolina defenders could do nothing about it.
20 points now for Mike Sweetney. And now he comes out to double Lucas. Lucas, yeah, he slipped. Just dragged that foot a little bit.
You know, one of the things you've got to do, if you're going to get that double team on the pick, you've got to be able to give the ball up in a hurry because those guys are going to chase you all over the floor. Dave Odom looking on right here. Look at this. Now, Lucas right there, he's got 2 guys chasing him. He's got Sweetney, he's got Braswell, and they stayed with him from the top of the key all the way around the corner. You got to give the ball up when those guys come at you.
And turnovers, which have not been a problem at all this season for Aaron Lucas, have been a problem here tonight. Loose ball out of bounds. Tim Higgins, Carl Hitch.
I don't think either one of the officials know.
Yeah, they're going to call it on the arrow and give it to Georgetown because neither one could tell.
You know what? The ball went across the floor so quickly, neither guy could get there in a hurry to make it. Mike Sweetney has done a terrific job in this game. He's been the leader for the Hoyas. When the ball goes inside, it's all him. And it's been the Hoyas so far. They lead by 4.
A little bit skewed. That Achilles injury, he played a little bit in a game, so the numbers say he's averaging about 16 points per game. But you look at the full games, the 4 games in which he's really been a regular, he's averaging better than 23 points per game, and he has been outstanding here tonight.
You can see what he's done just in this half. The rest of the team equals his point production in this second half. It's the reason Georgetown has that 4-point lead right now.
Sweetney and Wilson, the big guys, have combined to shoot 17 for 23 from the floor.
You win a lot of games when you do that.
Yeah. Braswell has stayed in the game with 4 fouls for the last 5 minutes.
South Carolina in a matchup zone defense right now.
Now the shot clock down to 5. Braswell realizes it. And Howell skies for the rebound. And they nearly throw it away. South Carolina has got to take care of the basketball now.
Well, Hall did a nice job shutting Bradley down. See how quickly he got to him?
Itson has returned. Kitchings out, at least for the moment, for the Gamecocks.
Riley with a nice defensive job right there on Itson.
Using a lot of time here. Lucas steps inside. Beautiful feed to Petrovicius.
That's what Lucas does well. Get the ball inside to the big man. We've got a 2-point game.
And now the crowd's starting to get back into it again. 21 lead changes tonight. No team is led by more than 5. Underneath the little guy, Braswell on the feed from Sweetney.
What a smart play by Braswell. Bradley went over to try to double team to get the ball away from Sweetney. Braswell realized it, got it in, and made the layup.
Nothing like having a 4-year starter at the point.
Oh, that was a smart move.
2.5 to play. We're having trouble just getting Lucas the ball right now.
Riley doing a great job on Itson.
And how about Hall on Bradley? They haven't been able to find Bradley the last few trips. And now away from the ball, we've got a call on the Hoyas, and I think it is Hall, and if it is, he is done.
I think Bradley was trying to shake free, and he reached out and grabbed him.
So Drew Hall fouls out of this game.
Dan, that puts a lot of pressure on Craig Ashrick right now to find somebody to go out and guard Bradley. He can't put Braswell on him because he's got 4 fouls.
He's got to choose, I would assume, either Hillier or maybe go back to a bigger guy like Riley.
I think Riley might be the guy that I would put on him out there because Riley very quick at 6'6", the long arms, a good reach. And defensively, he's as quick as any guard out there.
Entering the lineup for Georgetown, number 11, Trenton Hillier.
Hillier comes back in.
Georgetown with only 5 team fouls so far in this half. So they've got 1 more to give before South Carolina starts shooting free throws, which they did so very well in the first half. Zone defense again by the Hoyas.
Lucas. They'd love to get a Bradley free for a look. 4 threes in this game for Jamel Bradley.
So you're communicating to the other defensive players at Georgetown. Find Bradley.
Good feed inside. We've got a push on the floor. I don't think that basket's going to count.
I think it is.
Yes, you're right. It does.
I thought it was a little bit late. Craig Ashrick wants it waved off. Let's go back and take a look. You make the call. Does Itson get it to Petrovicius in the right position? There's the push. That's close. That's very close. They give him the basket, though.
Itson with his 4th assist of the night. A guy who can really help them even when he's not scoring. And here's Petrovicius. Whoops.
The violation. He gets another one. Riley fell into the lane.
About the 3rd time we've seen that tonight. Been a little bit of everything here in this game.
A little Southern hospitality. They show you everything here.
South Carolina much better tonight than they have been over the season. Ooh, there's the jinx in effect. But
back to him,
works, huh? Guess what? It's tied again.
Tony Kitchens with a great offensive rebound.
12 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 charges taken off the bench by Tony Kitchings tonight. Timeout. Craig Esherick needs to talk it over. South Carolina, the last 4 points to tie it up again.
Dan, oftentimes when you get the good position on the free throw, you got to jump in there in a hurry. Watch Kitchings right here get across the lane. Nobody blocked him out. Wilson was reluctant to get there, and Kitchings got there before he did. He didn't get the block out from Sweetney on the other side. That allowed him to get into the lane, and then Wilson just stood and watched.
Big game for both teams really here. Georgetown trying to come up with their first win over a quality established program. South Carolina trying to knock off a ranked team. You never take those lightly.
What an entertaining game.
That has been.
Good college basketball game. Gamecocks back into that 1-2-2 zone.
Got to keep an eye on Wilson in the middle of that zone. Sweetney from the baseline. Wilson grabs the loose ball, and we've got a foul. No basket. Bradley trying to wrestle with Wilson, and that's a mismatch.
Well, Bradley did the right thing. He was not going to allow Wilson to turn around and lay it up. He grabbed him on the arm.
Coming up next, at the conclusion of this game, the Home Depot College Football Awards Show from Orlando right here on ESPN. Wesley Wilson at the line, 1 for 2 from the line tonight, 63% on the season.
Well, you love to see a guy walk up there at crunch time and make one.
Another big night for the big man, who's now got 62 points in his last 3 games. 2 big ones for Wesley Wilson. Nicely and a 2-point lead for the Hoyas.
Nicely done. Georgetown man-to-man.
And Braswell on the ball defending Lucas as Hillier chases Bradley all over the court. From the corner for 3. South Carolina leads. Aaron Lucas.
Kitchings just came out of his shoe.
Literally. Aaron Lucas, his first 3-pointer of the night. South Carolina, Larry, back on top. It is hard to remember, and you've done more college basketball games than any of us can remember, a game that was this close for 39 minutes like this game has been tonight. It has been terrific.
I mean, both of these clubs have really gone to war. I'm going to tell you what, I think both of these teams are going to play very well in their respective conferences.
Final minute of play here in regulation. Georgetown with the ball down 1. Kitchings almost knocked it away. Now Lucas to the floor. Braswell gets it back, and then he's fouled hard by Kitchings. And now Kitchings is the guy who may be shaken up on the play.
Well, you get that double team again. Now watch off of the screen right here. Kitchings chasing him. He may have reached in, gotten away with one. Lucas slaps it away. Braswell will come up with it, and there's a blocking call right there. That might get you the Outland Trophy right there.
Look out. Wow. Now the problem here for South Carolina, that is the 10th team foul. Again, a great effort by Kitchings, but a good free throw shooter in Kevin Braswell is going to go to the line for 2 shots.
Braswell almost automatic from the charity stripe.
Has not been there yet tonight, but a 14 for 16 on the season. And now a timeout is taken by South Carolina.
Opportunity to perhaps freeze Kevin Braswell a little bit. You know, Braswell will have a chance to put his club back on top.
Well, I think both coaches have to be really pleased with the effort they've gotten tonight. Craig Esherick's team had to work around foul problems and the Victor Samnick injury. Haven't seen him at all in the second half. And then for South Carolina to play a ranked team with a huge front line, and for Kitchings and Petrovicius to play as well as they have for most of the night up front, Dave Odom's got to be pleased. Each team with a full and a 30 remaining. The big one there made those 10 fouls on South Carolina. 2 shots the rest of the way for the Hoyas.
Yeah, Georgetown still has, well, they have 3 more fouls to give before they put South Carolina in the double bonus. Yeah, Braswell now with a chance to put his club back up.
First free throw attempts of the night.
I don't know how successful you are at freezing or icing a guy on the free throw line. A guy that's really good. Whoa, it did that time.
What'd you say?
87% free throw shooter.
He's all business, too. A couple of bounces, and he just flicks it up there quickly. And that one, another one that looked like it was going in. This one to tie. An 11-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
Man-to-man by Georgetown. Wilson all the way out top on Petrovicius.
And they get Bradley open for a look. Hilliard's been hounding him.
Lucas has been hot.
Got to watch it with Braswell. 4 steals per game. Crossover by Lucas. The prayer no good. And the rebound to Wilson. Shot clock turned off. Are the Hoyas going to play it out? Craig Esherick wants a 30. And Wesley Wilson comes up a little bit gimpy behind the play.
It's like he might have grabbed his right hamstring.
14.6 seconds to play. Tied at 68. A game that's had, by our count, 22 lead changes. Nobody's led by more than 5 the entire night. 15th ranked Georgetown at 5-1, trying to escape with a win here in Columbia against 5-2 South Carolina. We're sending you to the Home Depot College Football Awards Show down in Orlando immediately following the conclusion of this game. Can the Hoyas win it here?
They've got their chance.
And they've got a guy who loves to take the big shot with the ball in his hand.
Braswell's the guy.
He'll be cold sometimes, but at the end of the game, he wants the ball. He wants the shot. He takes it. He hits it.
Boy, did you call that? Absolutely.
He's done that so many times. Lucas, no, and Georgetown wins it. Kevin Braswell with a bucket with 2 seconds to go, and the Hoyas go to 6-1, a 70-68 win. A great game here tonight. Solid entertainment, back and forth. Everybody putting out a great effort. And how about Kevin Braswell when the chips were down?
Partner, good call right here. And Lucas was all over him. It was Kevin Braswell who wants to take the big shot, and he does. Big win for Georgetown.
The final score, Georgetown 70, South Carolina 68. Coming up next, the ESPN Home Depot College Football Awards Show. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.